Hey, everybody. Welcome into the first ever Cake Eaters podcast. We're here with the real life Blake Wheeler, former captain for the Winnipeg Jets, and me, Eddie Bleau. How you doing, Blake?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How does it feel to start a podcast for the first time?
I don't know. I feel like I talk about hockey so much that, why not just let everybody else hear my thoughts? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
excited.
No more talking into the void that is Twitter. Now we're talking to the void that is whatever people listen to podcasts on.
Yeah, like Spotify, I don't know. Apple
Whatever.
Podcasts, who knows?
If you listen to your podcast on anything other than those two, then like kind of whack. But we don't
No,
judge.
YouTube's the best.
YouTube.
YouTube's the
Yeah,
best by far.
that's valid. If
Get the
for
chat going.
our YouTube viewers, shout out you guys. If you're watching this right now, but today we're going to be doing our predictions for the 2022-2023 season. Now the season officially starts this Friday. The San Jose Sharks and the Nashville Predators are playing the Global Series in Czechia. But most people kind of think of the beginning of the season as next Tuesday when the bigger names start to play here in the continental United States. So yeah, we're just gonna go division by division, give our predictions, and we'll see where we end up. So we're gonna start off with the Atlantic Division. Blake, give me your 8-1 rundown of what you think is gonna happen there.
So I've got Montreal 8th, and then I have Buffalo 7th, Ottawa 6th, Boston at 5. I have Detroit at 4. I think
Okay.
Detroit's sneaky good.
Okay.
And then I have Florida at 3, Tampa Bay at 2, and then I have the Leafs at 1.
All right. Interesting. So my bottom two is the same as yours. I got Detroit 6, Ottawa 5, Tampa Bay 4, Boston 3, Toronto 2, and Florida 1.
Okay. So you're a bit more of a believer in Boston then.
Yeah. I don't know. They've just haven't really failed with this core yet, and I have no reason to say they will this year. But yeah, I feel like
we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Let's start,
Obviously,
yeah.
Buffalo, Montreal, they're bad. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we got an immediate change here. You think Ottawa's going to be 6th? I think Detroit.
Mm-hmm. I think Ottawa's defense is still really not very good at all. And now with Cam Talbot being out for what was it, like 6-ish weeks? Something like that?
5 to 7 weeks is what I saw.
So yeah, I don't know about Ottawa, man. I have them like around like I don't know, high 80s, low 90s in terms of points.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But like I don't think the defense and the goaltending is good enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, everybody was really hyping up their forward core, and I think it's
really
definitely
good. Yeah.
It's a really good forward core, but then you think about it, who do they have on defense other than Shabbat? Can you name someone else that's like actually decent?
Okay.
Brandstrom's kind of cool.
Yeah. Artem Zub has a cool name.
He is one of the best names in the league. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he's not terrible either. But
they do have Lassie Thompson. He's kind of young. We won't know. He did kind of get danced by Alex Newhook last year. That's the only reason that I remember that he's on that team.
He also scored against the Avs too.
No, technically that wasn't his goal, remember, because it was what's his face's hat trick.
They hit some things. Oh yeah, Zach Sanford scored a hat trick.
Like
that was weird.
Everybody knew Zach Sanford was going to score a hattie against the Avs. I mean, if you didn't know that was going to happen, then like, come on.
I know, and everybody also knew that Darcy Kemper would give up 5 goals on 15 shots.
Yeah, and that he would just get like stuck on the post.
Yeah,
like goalies do that so often. Who even is Ottawa's goalie now?
Wouldn't it be Anton Forsberg?
So do they
it's
have
Anton Forsberg. Okay, Forsberg's
Forsberg could be sneaky good.
Like he was good for them last year, not great.
I'm not
I
sure who
think,
their backup would be though.
yeah, some dude. But who cares for 6 weeks? Just play.
Yeah,
Or I
that's
know
true.
they lost Gustafson to the Wild. He's the Wild's backup now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think their forward core is.
Yeah, and just Giroux
I don't
isn't.
think their defensive core is very good.
I think you, unless you get big steps from guys like Josh Norris and Drake Batherson, then I'm not sold that Ottawa's going to make a playoff push. I wouldn't, rule it out, but it would take a lot. So at 5 you have Boston.
This is probably more just me like not enjoying Boston as a team at all. Like the way they play hockey, it's not how I would have my hockey team playing hockey, let's just say.
Okay.
I don't like watching Boston games really. I hate their fans too.
Oh, I mean, who doesn't?
And Charlie McAvoy's out until what, like January?
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. Like, is David Krejci still good? Brad Marchand sounds like he's hurt too. I don't know how this goes.
Yeah, they got Bergeron and Marchand who are, they're getting up there in age. And their Pasternak had a kind of a down year last year. Taylor Hall is on that hockey team.
He's hurt too.
Well, then he's not even that. So this team it's confusing. I just think that Boston's going to be Boston, but they don't have Bruce Cassidy anymore, which I thought was actually a big part of their success. Who knows what's going to happen with Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman? Will those two kind of take steps as a tandem? Because if so, that could be pretty nasty. I wouldn't rule a team with they're just kind of top to down. They're just kind of solid. Without McAvoy, their defense is definitely kind of lacking though.
Yeah, no, their defense is going to be. I feel like they're going to be okay. I don't know how Jim Montgomery will do. We saw at DU he likes playing more of an offensive system, at least than Bruce Cassidy. It's not like as run and gun as like Jared Bednar or like the Devils are right now with Lindy Ruff somehow. It's not going to be like that. But it's still like they're going to want a bit more out of their forwards and a bit more out of their transition game than Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah, which I think is probably not going to really suit the team because I'm just not sold that Marchand, Bergeron, and those guys can really keep up. But now they don't have, like you said, they don't have McAvoy. I'm not sure Grzelcyk can take those minutes away and really.
Like he's good, but is he as good as Charlie McAvoy? No.
So. Yeah, and even Charlie McAvoy isn't an offensive stud, but he produces enough.
I think that's very much just like a wait and see. That's why I kind of have them in the middle, just as kind of a safe bet.
Yeah,
like that's low 90s, mid 90s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's fair. At 5, so 5, they could still make the playoffs. Do you see them?
So I actually have them outside of the playoffs in mind. I have them and Detroit outside. I have 5 teams from the Metro actually in the playoffs.
Really? Fascinating.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how that all plays out when we get to the Metro.
And then you have you have Detroit at 4, and I have Tampa at 4.
Yeah, so run me through Tampa.
So Tampa, I came up with this huge big brain theory the other day. Tampa Bay dominating in the playoffs the past 2 years. They're kind of an old team. Is Andrei Vasilevsky the best goaltender in the league? Yes. Is he going to play like this forever? No. Goalies decline at some point. I don't think this will be the start of his decline. I think he might have a bit of a down year. We saw it kind of in the Colorado series. He was not himself. He was not, even in the New York Rangers series to an extent. He just kind of wasn't himself. This is an old team. You saw when they played the Avs, they got punched in the mouth and they cried. They didn't punch them right back. They didn't take it. They just cried. kind of threw their hands up in the air, asked the refs, help us out, do something about it. I feel like that was a big mental blow to that team. And they're getting, like I said, they're getting older. Who knows if Nikita Kucherov will ever stay healthy for a season again?
Yeah, seriously.
Victor Hedman is just getting older and older. And getting rid of Ryan McDonagh, dude, he was a big part of that defense. He was their best defensive player.
It was a little known secret. He led their defense in ice time.
Yeah, like everybody gives Victor Hedman all the props, but like
it was McDonagh and Chernak. They were, they led that defense in ice time.
Chernak is a damn warrior. I will give him that much.
He's so good. Yeah,
dude, he just blocks everything and he doesn't care. But I still have them making the playoffs, but I can see a significant decline. Like I can see them like squeaking in the last moments. Like I feel like for like the first half of the season, they're just going to be like going through the motions, finding their way through. Then they're going to realize, okay, we're kind of over it. We're a decent hockey team. Let's win some games. They're going to make it in the playoffs. That's kind of what I see. Now, Detroit, I see where you're coming from. They made some really good additions this offseason. They've really kind of, I think, what's been a pretty underrated tandem in Husso and Nedeljkovic. But I'm not entirely sold on them.
I mean, obviously, I'm an Avs fan, so I hate Detroit.
Maybe that's where I'm coming from. I'm not sure.
But I really think that they have a chance to be good. Like, obviously, I know the Ben Sherratt thing is weird, but when you have Mo Seider, and I think Sherratt will probably be playing with him. I mean, their defense is actually kind of okay. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, people forget that like everybody kind of made fun of Ben Sherratt. He's a fine defender. It's just he wasn't worth giving up a first-round pick for.
Exactly. No, yeah, his analytics are terrible, but you watch him play hockey and you're like, this guy is not that bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's an eye test versus analytics thing, but I think he's okay.
Core, not great.
I think it's okay. Yeah, Hronik's fine.
Yeah, and Hronik, Sherratt, and Seider. Pishik is okay.
Pishik's fine. Like it's not going to be a good defense, but it kind of reminds me of like the 2017-18 Avs, where the defense it's not great. They have a good tandem in net, and their forwards are awesome. So
see, that's where my problem comes in. I just don't know if they have the high end.
Yeah, I think they do. I think Larkin's like a low end 1C, but I really like Bertuzzi. Like, I think Bertuzzi's really good. And then I think Lucas Raymond's awesome also. Maybe. Like, I think he's going to take like a Mikko Rantanen step up from year 1 to year 2, something like that.
I will say something I've forgotten about their forward core is Jacob Vrana. Every game he plays for the Detroit Red Wings, he's just gross. He's nasty. He just decides, I'm just going to be good tonight. And I forgot, there's some signings that went under the radar. Oscar Sundqvist.
Sundqvist is a good depth player.
Andrew Kopp, and then obviously
really good. Yeah.
The big one is Dave Perron.
And Perron, there's your top 6 right there. Like, that is a nasty top 6.
That's a solid top 6. I don't have complete faith in Tyler Bertuzzi and Dylan Larkin. And
even if Bertuzzi regresses from like the 90-point pace he was on last year, to even just like a 75-ish point pace, and Larkin is like a point per game guy, I still think that's a really good team.
I don't know if I would pencil Dylan Larkin as a point per game guy. Let me know.
Even if he's like a 70-point guy, like, even still.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, 70 points is a realistic ask for him. He had 69 in 71 games last year, but
that's point per game.
I mean, he hasn't hit like 75 once though. So, but he is growing as a player. He's only 26, so he's going into his prime. So I guess it's realistic to expect maybe a nice solid point per game season out of him. Gabe Landeskog-esque.
Yeah, like I think that's a really good forward core. I think the defense is passable, and I like their goalies. I think that screams wild card team to me, or a team in the 90-point range.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, maybe it's just kind of my mentality of Detroit, just kind of
Yeah.
not very good, but I could see them making the playoffs. This division is a little bit more stacked than I feel like. People. I feel like people are used to the Atlantic Division being just top half super good, bottom half super crap.
Right.
That's kind of now it's just kind of Buffalo and Montreal just kind of down there.
Yeah,
and they're going to be. I think they're going to be pretty good in a few years too.
Buffalo will be who knows? Buffalo is Buffalo, man. Like,
yeah,
this could I guess just botch it again, and we could be back to where we were, with the Eichel thing. And
yep, yeah. I don't know. I think Alex Tuch is going to bring this team. He's gonna finally get this team across the playoff.
See, I think Alex Tuch's going to regress from a 70-point guy to back to like a 50, a 55-point guy.
I think it's less about the points and more about the kind of culture and leadership that he brings. It's all about the intangibles.
Fair enough.
Alex Tuch, and he's good enough to put up a decent amount of points. And then we got Toronto and Florida kind of up there. You have Florida at 3, right?
Yeah, I have Florida at 3. I'm thinking like high 90s, low 100-point range, somewhere in there. I think they're still good. I don't think they're great, like they were last year. The forward core is still filthy.
Their forward core is so gross. I was thinking about this the other day. Imagine a line of Patrick Hornquist, Sam Bennett, and Matthew Tkachuk. Dude, that would be hell. Hell.
Except for Hornquist. I don't think he's very good anymore.
He's not good, but he's really physical. So like if you got to take one of those guys on, and you get Radko Gudas back there, you're just getting hit.
No matter how you organize that forward core, it's just so good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to score tons of goals, but they're also going to give up tons of goals.
See, I don't know. I think maybe Bobrovsky has like a quick little flash in the pan season that makes everybody go, oh, maybe he's not that bad. And then I think next year he's going to suck again. But I think he might, finally, he's kind of been slowly getting better in his years in Florida. And I think he might finally kind of find his stride. I don't know. Goalies on the Palm Race just kind of do good.
He had a 908 last year or something in there, which is okay. Like, even if he's like at a 915, that's what, 2 goals better in the course, 3 goals better in the course of a season.
Yeah, he had a 913 last year.
He had a 913. Okay, so even if he's a little better,
that's a solid goalie. That's
right. Like 913 is solid, and
and honestly, Spencer Knight. Maybe it doesn't matter if Bobrovsky is good. Maybe Spencer Knight just takes his spot.
I still just think they're going to give up a ton of goals, even if that's the save percentage. Like
their defense.
Aaron Ekblad, and who? Like I like Gustav Forsling. I think he's a really good player. I don't think he's a first pairing.
He's not. Yeah, he's not Mackenzie. He's not Mackenzie Weegar. And Aaron Ekblad actually has to stay healthy for him to be there. And then, so you have Tampa Bay at 2.
I do.
I'll
give you a quick rundown on Tampa. I think they're still really good. I think they have these guys, right? Like Ross Colton. They seem to pull a Ross Colton out of their ass every year. Yeah. And they just find ways to just be good in the regular season. Not great. Again, like same tier as Florida, high 90s, low 100s, somewhere in there. They still have all their guys, obviously, except McDonough, which I honestly, I feel like it was the right time to get rid of him.
Yeah, and they replaced him with Ian Cole.
He's old now.
It's true.
I still think they're really good. Um, Not as good as last year, but I think they're really good. I don't think their core is too old now. I think they're obviously aging, but I think until they show signs that they're getting worse, like significantly worse, you can't really say, like, you can't really predict they're going to age.
Yeah.
Obviously, it'll happen in the next 5 years or so, but I don't think that's this year. Like, I think they're in a good spot. I think they're going to be good, and would not be surprised to see them make a deep run again. So,
I I don't disagree with your reasoning. My reasoning is pure speculation. It's like nothing about how good they are at hockey and more just all about.
oh, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be as good, and I don't know how they're going to handle that, but
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
don't think it's going to be
And
a
then so
huge drop off.
at 1 you have Toronto, I have Toronto at 2. Now, I have faith that the team is good enough and that Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov can be purely average enough to get them
Mm-hmm. That's all
to,
they need.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens in the first round happens in the first round. That's really what this team's
Yeah,
just, they're just trying to get to that point.
yeah. I think. I mean, they played really well against Tampa last year in the first round, and I mean, they're going to be playing probably. I mean, if they finish at the top of the division, probably not as good of a team in the first round this year. So we'll see how that goes. But I just think they're so good. I mean, they have. I mean, their top six is. I mean, for the last 4 or 5 years has just been. I mean, easily top five in the league.
Yeah, they have a
Morgan
nice road.
Riley's good. Their defense on the whole, I actually like more than most people. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's great. And the goalies are, the goalies.
Yeah.
I just think the way they play hockey, they just don't give, they just have the puck the whole game. Like they don't give up many shots.
Unless they have a 3-goal lead, and
That's
then
true. Then they don't have the puck. But I just think they're they're one of those teams that's just very built for the regular season.
yeah,
Um, they just have to puck the whole game, and I just don't think it'll matter that the goalies are a question mark. I think they're going to be just okay, and they're going to finish it at the top of that division. I just think they're much better, or significantly better than every other team in that division. So
that's fair. Fair by me. I mean, I don't really have any other complaints. I think that it's fair. I don't think Austin Matthews is going to have the season he did last year.
yeah,
Michael Bunting, I could easily see just falling off a cliff, but I don't
yeah.
know. He's kind of been pretty consistent, so I have faith. So now we got the Metro. This is a lot more of it's a weirder division. A lot of kind of mediocre teams, and then one far and away pretty good team. So
Yeah.
let's hear your predictions for that division really quick.
I'll go the other way this time. Why don't we
Right.
start with Carolina? I just think that fits this division.
Yeah.
Carolina is the best team for me. At 2, I actually have Pittsburgh. At 3, I have Washington. At 4, I have the Rangers. At 5, I have the Isles. 6, I have New Jersey. 7, Columbus. And 8, Philadelphia.
7 Columbus. My God.
Yeah, I still don't think Columbus is that good.
Well, you're going to disagree with my list then because I got Carolina, Columbus at 2, Rangers at
Whoa.
3, Caps at 4, Pittsburgh at 5, Islanders at 6, New Jersey at 7, and Philly at 8.
Okay, so we agree on Philadelphia and Carolina.
Yeah, Philly just sucks. I don't really think we need to say much there.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how that goes. I wonder if they're like a 50-point team, like one of the worst teams we've ever seen play hockey, or if they're like a 77-point team and they get like the 8th pick
Yeah,
and they just like continue this horribly run. Whatever this team is right now, it's so bad. Like Chuck Fletcher's he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah.
Actually, probably another GM has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, and I was going to say,
Chuck Fletcher gets fired. Yeah. So.
Chuck Fletcher's got his work cut out for him for about 3 months, if that. So then 7, I have New Jersey.
Yeah, I think New Jersey's actually, I think they're going to be decent. I think Dougie Hamilton is better this year than he was last year.
Yeah, he had a bit of injury problems, and
he had a weird year. I think he'll be better. I really, really like John Marino. That's going to be big for them. Damon Severson's really good.
Yeah.
I don't love their left side, but their right side's really good. Back there, I like Siegenthaler. I think he's an analytical darling.
He's pretty good. And then Ryan Graves.
I don't like Ryan Graves, but that's just me. If he's their number 5, that's pretty good.
Yeah, if he's on their bottom pairing, they're chilling. I think. Yeah. I think with the guys in front of him, I think having Ryan Graves at the on your third line is more than fine. You're not going to catch any disagreement from me from there. Their forward core, I don't know. It's good at the top, and then it just kind of
still a lot of young pieces that it's not the high end. Obviously, Jack Hughes is really, really good, but the high end other than Jack Hughes and Brott is not. And even they just aren't the highest of end at the top of a forward core. It's not. They're not going to be competing for the top 15 at their position, stuff like that. I think it's an okay forward core. I think it's great, and not a ton of depth either. So.
Yeah, I'm not. The depth is really what kind of just makes me just not great. They have Eric Halla, that's a solid depth piece, and like we said, they have some young guys. They got Andre Palat, but he's going to be playing a bit too high in their lineup. I think he's a third line guy, and they're going to use him as a second, maybe even.
You think Andre Palat's a third line guy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he's just not. If they make the playoffs, which they probably won't. Great, put him on your first or second line, but
50-point guy, it's a second line player. But
I mean, he hasn't hit 50 points since 16-17.
This roster to me screams 88 points, good. Yeah. But you're getting the 10th or 11th pick.
The year after Taylor Hall won the Hart, they were okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing spectacular.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they jumped to low 90s, mid 90s.
I could see them kind of doing what the Ducks did last year, kind of making a push and then just kind of coming back to earth.
I think they're good. Yeah. Not great. Not an embarrassment like last year.
Then we got the Islanders. We kind of both agree. Solid team, kind of mediocre, victim of circumstance. Teams are just better in front of them. And it doesn't help when you do nothing in the offseason.
Yeah, I think I have the Isles making the playoffs. Yeah, I know. Hot take. They could finish with 105 points, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I think their defense is really, 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 really good, and their goaltending is elite. I think they have the best goaltending tandem in the league. I think they have a top 5 defense. The Pulak Pelech pairing, Dobson, Green's still okay. Romanov will be good for them. That's the one thing they did this in the offseason. I think that's a really, really good defense. And their goaltending is awesome. And their forwards are,
their forwards are okay. Their forwards are pretty underrated. They're fine. Yeah.
They're okay.
I would agree. So then you have Washington on the outside. Take me through that.
I have Washington at 3.
End. Oh, who's 4?
4, I have the Rangers.
Okay. The other New York team. There you go.
Yeah, I think we should spend quite a bit of time on the Rangers because I actually have no idea how this is going to go. I kind of want to hear your thoughts before.
Dude, so basically my my thinking for the Rangers is that Shesterkin not going to do what he did. You just can't, like, no goalie in like however many years has done what he did once. And then the fact that the possibility that he could do it twice in a row, I just completely throw that out. Now, they got a decent bit better at forward core. You know, they got Frank Vetrano. They did lose Andrew Kopp. I thought that was a big kind of a pretty substantial piece that they missed out on.
Yeah, I mean, it was a deadline ad. I actually think Vetrano. I think isn't Vetrano a Duck now?
Oh, is he a Duck?
I think he's a Duck. I think they lost Vetrano and Kopp, but they added Trocheck.
Oh, right. Trocheck. That's what I'm thinking of.
Same
The
player
other
as Kopp, like same.
You know, they both played on the Panthers at the same time.
They're both a 50-point center.
Yeah, they're the same person in my mind. You know, he can beef it up with Boston some more. You know, Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
I you know, it's tough. They have a young defensive core that could take a big step. I think Jacob Trouba, you know, he has some suspect hits and he's not an amazing player, but I think he's a good leader for that group. Artemi Panarin just kind of hasn't been the same since he was nominated for the Hart that one year. That's kind of the big thing for me is how does their offense do? Because Artemi Panarin has been going downhill. Mika Zibanejad has kind of just been fluctuating, and Chris Kreider isn't going to do what he did last year. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So my thing with the Rangers is I agree with everything you said. Yeah, pretty much. I just like a lot of people. I feel like people are on extremes. You know, a lot of people think they're going to be a Stanley Cup favorite, and a lot of people I've seen think they're going to miss the playoffs entirely. More often, the analytical people, the analytics people think they're going to miss the playoffs. You know, the eye test people think they're a cup contender. I actually think it falls somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think back to the 13-14 Avs, which is, you know, what the analytics people are comparing them to. And their defense is just so much better than that Avs team.
Yeah, dude.
And obviously the goaltending performance, like Shesterkin's not going to have like a 936, whatever it was. Again,
yeah,
928, sure, but 936, like, come on, man.
I'm not even sure I'll have a 928. I think it's more just like 915 to 925 is my kind of expectation for him. I think the big test is, do they play hockey like they did last year, where they just get shelled all the time? Because if they do, they're not making the playoffs. And if they're making the playoffs, they're squeaking in. They have to seriously change how they play hockey. So Gerard Gallant is getting talks for the Jack Adams, and he's actually got to figure out how to coach his hockey team first.
And he's got a 44% expected goal share. Yeah. Like, if that team had good goaltending last year, they would not have made the playoffs.
No.
And it's kind of I think there's a lot of regression coming. Chris Kreider's not going to score 50 goals again. I don't think Mika Zibanejad is a high-end 1C. Like, I think he's okay as a 1C.
I'd say
I think Panarin will actually be better than he was last year, just because he's so talented. But I don't love their depth either. Like, the kids haven't been any good. It's just such a question mark if they can.
Yeah, Lafreniere might finally take a step, but hard to bank on that.
Right. A lot of unknowns, and I think they have the high end, though, to where I'm like, this is not another 13-14 Avs team where, you know, your defense is actually horrible.
Right.
And you're just getting by on a goalie having the best season ever. So I think they're like a mid-90s point team.
Yeah. I think I have them at 3, and I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot for them, is that they either get that. I feel like they could comfortably get that first wild card spot, or they could kind of, you know, battle with someone for that third spot. But at 3, you have Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am actually a little bit lower on Washington, but I feel like we probably share the same kind of
Yeah.
mindset. They're a solid
Again,
team. DK is a good goalie.
right. They're kind of similar to the Rangers. Like in terms of having no idea how it's going to
Yeah.
go. They have
And
injury
they're
issues already.
real old, yeah.
Yeah, they're old. They haven't really shown a ton of aging signs yet, apart from Backstrom being hurt.
Yeah, pretty much Backstrom just getting
every other
injured.
yeah every other year. So, but I still think they're good. I think they're a good team.
Yeah, Ovi.
Yeah,
Ovi's gonna score some goals, and
yeah, and they're
Tom
gonna
Wilson's
play
gonna throw some questionable hits, and then there you go.
right.
That's Capitals hockey.
They sneakily play a very very tight checking
They
system
do.
with Laviolette. Like it's a really good system, and
For that team,
they
it
kind of
works
had
well.
to, obviously, with their goaltending last year. Like it was so bad. They couldn't give up a shot. I mean, the goaltending was that bad, and this year it's not going to be bad. They have Darcy Kemper. Might take him a month or two, but
yeah, the team in front of him will help probably ease him
yeah.
in.
At the end of the day, he's Darcy Kemper. He'll have a 915 ish, 920 ish save percentage, and they'll
no one will talk about it. He'll be
right.
one of the better goalies in the league, and call that a season.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. So,
all right. So now let's get into the Columbus conversation. Now, even in my mind, I think I'm reaching on Columbus. I am hard banking that Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine become the greatest duo in NHL history. Their defense outside of Werenski isn't amazing. They have some young guys. Depends on how and what Kent Johnson's role is. Will Jonas Korpisalo finally remember how to play goalie again? I have faith in Elvis Merzlikins if Korpis, that he can kind of carry the load, but I'm not, I think if Jonas Korpisalo kind of comes back to his older form, then I think this team will be one of the better teams in the division. I'm not sure though. It's
even if all that happens,
sneakily good. Yeah, I'm banking on it hard, but I don't know.
Even if all that happens, I don't know if they get above 90 points, man. Like
I don't know. This feels a lot like the 1920 Rangers. Like you just signed this really good player who, in my opinion, probably should have won the Hart last year. I know that's a controversial take. I mean, it was either him or Shesterkin in my mind, but you already have a solid forward core. The rest of your team around him is okay. If just him and a few guys just outscore your problems, you're going to sneak into the playoffs. I don't think they're going to do well in the playoffs, but I think I could see them, outperforming this kind of mediocre division and then kind of crashing when it matters.
I understand. I see where you're coming from. The defense is really bad. Like Zach Werenski has turned bad ever since he lost Seth Jones, and no one's really talking about it. Like I'm sure he'll have a bounce back year, but even if he does bounce back, like is it going to be to the old Zach Werenski?
Yeah,
or we just don't know really with him. And like who's he going to play with? Like, are you really going to put Eric Goodbranson, who you just gave a 4x4 to, with Zach Werenski, like Andrew Peak? Like I'd
like to see him next to a guy like Bachvist or Bean, give a young guy a chance, but I don't.
Right. I feel like that's just
they have to prove it a little bit more before they get that opportunity.
I don't even like they're just gonna hemorrhage so many chances, and then they have Elvis back there who's
they've always outside of for the past few years, I feel like they just keep getting goalies that do well though. Like they'll call these random dudes up from the AHL and they just win a game, and it's just like sure. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're on two different ends of the spectrum here. You're banking on So, well, the reality is they probably end up as like a bubble team. Oh
Yeah,
God.
I think they're much better than they were last year.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, what was going on there? Yeah, I think they're much better than last year.
Yeah, I think they will be. You definitely have them on the lower end, and then we have Carolina. I don't know how much we need to talk about Carolina. They're a damn good team. Their goalies have to stay healthy. Once Max Pacioretty gets back, if he's just like 80% of how good he normally is, they're just going to be super good. And then kind of similar to Toronto, they just kind of got to get to the postseason and prove it there.
Yeah, they're good. That's all I got. They're awesome. Yep. Brent Burns is going to be good. Brent Burns is going to turn back to good.
I don't know. I think he'll be. I think he'll be pretty similar to Tony D without the complete defensive liability. He's not good at defense. Don't get me wrong, but I think Tony D is the worst like the worst defenseman in the league defensively, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that wraps up our thoughts on the East. Now we got the West. So we're gonna go with the Pacific first here. What are your predictions for the Pacific? Because this is an interesting division.
I'll go 8-1 here. I've got San Jose at the bottom. I think San Jose is very sneakily a terrible hockey team.
I don't know. I can't really say they're a terrible hockey team. When they have Timo Meier and Tomas Hertl.
Oh, they're terrible. We'll get to them though in a second.
All right.
I have Anaheim 7.
Okay.
I have Seattle at 6.
I
have Vancouver at 5.
Mm.
I have Vegas at 4, which we'll see. I have LA at 3, and then I have Edmonton and Calgary. So
so our top 3 is the exact same.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a kind of set and forget top 3. I don't know how much we need to delve into that, except for maybe the conversation between Calgary and Edmonton. But San Jose, I don't disagree. They're a really bad team. I think. I kind of think they're going to be like a 60-point team. They're going to get like the 7th pick.
Oh yeah, and that's terrible. Yeah, no, that I have them like right at 60, which is like
like awful. The worst of being bad. So good enough that you're not the worst, bad enough that you're not doing anything. Yeah, right. I definitely don't disagree. But those 7th goalies aren't going to help them out.
No, the 9,000 goalies they have in their back pocket aren't going to help.
Yeah, I think someone needed to let them know that you can't play them all at once.
Right. I think they're going to be able to score a few goals.
Yeah.
They're probably going to give up like 4 goals a game. Something ridiculous like that defense is really bad.
That defense is really just not good. The only saving grace of that defense is EK 65, and he had a solid season last year, but yeah, he's not good at defense.
Right. So I think they're bad. I think we can move on.
So at 7 you have Anaheim. I have Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah, I just I don't know. Basically, I think they're not going to get the same production from JT Miller. Elias Pettersson's probably not going to be as bad either. I think you just swap their production, and then they're just kind of the same mediocre team, whereas everybody else kind of got better.
It's tough to read.
For me, it's how good do the young guys do, and how good is Thatcher Demko?
Yeah, I think.
Can he do what Igor Shesterkin pretty much did for the Rangers last year?
When Bruce Boudreau took over, or after Bruce Boudreau took over, they were a sneakily very, very, very good team last year. Like they won a lot of games after Boudreau took over, which obviously, new head coach bump. I don't think it's going to be like that this year, but I don't know. Do they have like something? They have some sort of magic with that coach and that system. I
They could very well make the playoffs. My opinion on this division is that pretty much from 1 to 7, outside of San Jose, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these teams made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough to read. I actually would be surprised if Anaheim made it, but I guess that's where we can go next. Like,
So I have Anaheim at 4, and I have them making the playoffs.
okay, I could
So
see that.
they had some really nice offseason pickups. I think John Gibson is due for a bounce back season.
Oh, see, I think he's just not very good anymore. But
really, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. I think I don't know. Goalie of his caliber, I feel like it's just unrealistic to expect that to think he just fell off the cliff.
I mean, yeah, but like, keep in mind though, he was hurt a lot early in his career.
That's true.
When he was putting up elite, I just wonder if he's broken permanently. I don't know. We'll see.
He could be. You know, I think their forward core is pretty solid, especially their top
It's
six.
good.
They got
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry. They got Ryan Strome now. Mason McTavish. If he can come in and make an impact, that's a pretty good. You know, and then you got some other names to throw in there. Their defensive core is kind of where it gets questionable for me. You know, there were rumors that they were going to be able to bring back Josh Manson. They didn't. But it could be pretty solid. You know, they have guys, you know, that are solid NHL players. Kevin Shattenkirk has been good for them ever since he got there. Dmitry Kulikov is a nice pickup for them. Maybe Jamie Drysdale can, you know, kind of establish himself as a top defender. And then they got John Klingberg, which that's a good defenseman right there. If Jamie Drysdale doesn't establish him as a first defenseman, you got John Klingberg. And
yeah, it's an underrated decor. Cam Fowler's also still really good. Like Fowler and Klingberg, that's a nice pair.
Sometimes I feel like I just didn't need to look at it on paper, and then I realized actually that's pretty solid. I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. I feel like this team is just every facet of their game. It's just solid.
I think where
except for
they're gonna struggle is forward. Like their
depth
I don't think it's there yet. Yeah, even the high end, I don't think it's there yet.
I gotta back my boy Troy.
I mean, they're one point per game guy.
Yeah, but like I don't know. We see guys. You know, all you need is that 1 point per game guy. You just need kind of scoring by committee to help, kind of, you know, just get you into that spot. And the rest of this division, just so mediocre that.
Yeah, no, I could see it. I don't think they're going to be a bad team. I'm like high 80s-ish, somewhere in there. Like the middle of this division is going to be very packed in. I still have them at 7, but I could see them at like 4 or 5. Yeah, in there.
So we both have Seattle at 6. You're not a big Philip Grubauer fan, but I'm a believer in the return to form.
Oh, he's going to be better than he was last year.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like he, you know, top 10 goalie in the league return.
No.
I feel like he either does that or he sucks again, and he's just not an NHL goalie anymore. He's just that Vegas series officially broke him. It broke him mentally.
Man, it sure looked like it did.
It really did.
I mean, ever since Nick Holden scored from the point, like he just like forget how to play goaltender? Like what?
That puck went in and his brain just immediately like lost half of its brain cells.
Like he forgot how to play goaltender. Like I've never seen anything like that. I think the Avs helped him a lot because he was facing 22 shots a game.
Yeah, well, like we said, we have different takes on Grubauer, but
yeah,
I think we're like this team has a really solid defensive structure. They just need guys to score, and the guys Andre Burakovsky,
and Bjorkstrand,
2 great pickups, and then you have Matty Beniers and probably Shane Wright, in my opinion. I think they're going to put him in.
I don't know how that's going to go. I have not
it'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see how he plays if he plays. But and then you still got like Jaden Schwartz, Brandon Tanev's a good, he'll be coming back this year. I think I put him at 6. I could see this team sneaking into the playoffs or at least pushing for it.
Yeah.
They have everything that they need to be a good team. It just depends on whether or not they can put it together. Except for Dave Haxtell. He's really bad at his job.
He's a terrible coach. Yeah. I don't know why.
They should have fired Jim Montgomery when they had the chance.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I don't know why their main strategy is slap shots from the point by Jamie Alexiak. That's their entire offensive strategy. Just get it to the point, give it to the big man, and bombs away.
Rocket one, yeah. And then, Brandon Tanev will just take it off his chest and bat it in at some point.
Right. It there's no creativity at all. And I'm sure that'll be
I think what's going to push them to success is finally having a mascot.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's going to keep them from winning because, the mascot always comes onto the ice after the game. They don't want to be on the ice with that thing.
Oh, yeah, no. If I was like one of the 3 stars and I had to like high five that thing going, like waving to the fans and you have to high five it going off the ice, like I would just purposefully lose. Like I would only be one of the 3 stars on the road. So
just win every game you can on the road and like keep your home losses to as much as you can while you make the playoffs, but not enough where you have to interact with Bowie.
Right. Like we can win at home. I just won't be one of the 3 stars. Like
I'm just gonna you guys have to carry the load. I'm just gonna sit back here and just
exactly. No, yeah, I'll have a
play Angry Birds on the iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, then we got Vegas. I have Vegas 5. You have them at 4. So it feels like they have Jack Eichel and Mark Stone.
Yeah, shiny toys.
And then they have a lot of absolute crap behind that. They got an old defensive core. Their forward core is so awful.
It's good. I think it's good.
They have
Eichel,
Chandler Stevenson.
Carlson is your 2C. You can flank Stevenson on the left with Eichel and Stone. You still have Marchessault and Riley. Like you have the misfits still.
I guess Marchessault is a better hockey player than he is
like
a reader. So
misfits is a good second line, and then the top line like Stevenson, Eichel, Stone. That's good. Like that's a good top 6. And you have Phil Kessel.
To me, I did forget about Phil Kessel. I think maybe it isn't quite as bad, but I just oh boy, their third line is what their fourth line used to be,
but it's like still okay.
Goons. It's okay. I get where they really suck is their defense score. They have Zach Whitecloud, Shea Theodore and Pietrangelo are still kicking, but Alec Martinez might be,
we don't know. Yeah,
one of their better defenders.
We don't know about him either. Like with his injuries.
Yeah, they're too old. They're one of those teams where you have seen signs of regression, especially in the defensive core, and then goalies.
I think Logan Thompson's going to be good. Yeah, this is why I think they could easily finish 3rd ahead of LA.
Yeah.
Maybe even ahead of Edmonton. I don't think they get above Calgary, but Logan Thompson and what he's shown in the NHL so far,
right?
He's been very good, and they have a good forward core. The D is fine. I think I like their defense more than you. I think Shea Theodore is the number 1. I think Pietrangelo at this stage he's
just not very good defensively anymore.
Who?
Neither Theodore and Pietrangelo just aren't very good defensively.
Theodore's okay. Pietrangelo, no. Pietrangelo's bad now.
Yeah, he's just
you still have to play him 20 minutes because he's on that deal, but he's not very good. But I love Zach Whitecloud. I love Martinez. McNabb's good. And, Ben Hutton, man. He can lip sync to Barbie Girl better than anyone. So
really?
Have you seen
Pasta.
that?
Yeah,
Have you
but
seen
do you
his
think
lip
better than
syncing?
Pasta? I don't think I have actually, but like better than
Oh, okay,
Pasta.
I'm gonna send that to you.
All right.
Oh, it's so good. No, it is. It was like right before he got drafted.
That was
So
why they picked him.
he's like
I
our
actually
age,
don't
and
know who
he's
picked
just
him.
like lip syncing to Barbie Girl in front of a bunch of people. So no,
No, they did
Ben
not pick
Hutton's
him.
dope.
No, it was who picked him? Oh, Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Vancouver picked him. That makes sense. Sedins
Yeah.
love themselves some Barbie Girl. That was before they retired, so I'm pretty confident. I don't know that for sure, but anyway, so we've got through them. Now we have our top three. We I feel like we don't have much to say about them.
Not a ton.
I think Edmonton is in for a regression
Mm-hmm.
from
Absolutely.
last year.
Yeah.
I think boy,
When they
I'm not
find
sure it'll
out,
come in the regular season, but they're not going to do what they did in the playoffs last
oh,
year.
I
I
agree.
could
Yeah.
be pretty confident in that.
When they find out that Jack Campbell is worse than Mike Smith, like,
See, I don't know if he's actually worse. I just don't.
oh yeah, like Mike
I
Smith was good last year. Like he was.
yeah, he's always been good in the regular. He's like good in the regular
He's
season,
great in
and
the
then
playoffs for the Avs series too.
yeah, and then he plays the Avs, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like either he's awful. Well, actually, he wasn't very good against Calgary at stints.
He was okay.
He did let in a goal from the other blue line.
Right. But he was like okay in that series. He wasn't.
He was. Yeah, he's the streakiest goaltender I think maybe in NHL history.
He
I don't
is
know that
not,
much about goalies, but he's so streaky. He's the biggest high and low, I feel like.
let's just say if I was making a hockey team, he would not be my goalie. But
Well, if you wanted goalie goals,
yeah, if you wanted goalie goals and flippers from the blue line getting scored on you, like sure, yeah,
it's
great.
It's all about the excitement factor with Mike Smith, but he's not even. I know he's like retiring, kind of. I don't know. He's been.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah, he's done.
It's been very weird. Calgary obviously turned what was going to be an absolute disaster into a damn good hockey team. Mackenzie Weegar, I think, is the key for that. I've always thought everybody's kind of been big on their defensive core, and I'm like, it's good. Like from 1 to 6, they're all good defensemen, but they never had that true number one guy. And now they have him, Nikita Zadorov. He's back.
Yeah,
there you go. Great
the number
job,
one
Calgary.
defenseman.
Yep.
The best hockey player I've ever seen.
Yeah. But no, Mackenzie Weegar, like, that's a great pickup for them, I think. I think they paid Jonathan Huberdeau
really
too much,
good.
but I think he'll be good. I think he'll be fine for them. And then
they're really good.
Kadri also paid him too much. He'll be fine. They'll be good for about 2 or 3 years, and then those contracts and the age will set in, and then they'll suck.
They're really good. I don't think they're amazing. Like, I don't think they're like a 115-point team, but like 100.
Yeah, they're probably cracking
totally.
though.
Yeah. They're definitely the best team in this division for me.
Yeah.
So, not
all right. So now we got the main event here. We're only like an hour in, and we're just getting to the Central Division.
This might take a while.
Yeah.
So I want to start at the top.
Gee, I wonder who's going to be at the top.
So I've got the Avs at the top. I know this is a hot take, but I think the Avalanche are better than the rest of the teams in this division. I know.
Jeez, man, you might catch a lot of flack for that.
I know.
I thought you were going to start to go with they were better than last year, and I was going to be like,
they're not better than last year.
I mean, I could see it happening, but I'm not going to say it. Like, I can't say that I think it'll happen. Like, it literally all depends on Georgiev, Newhook, and Byram. If those 3 dudes take off, my God, dude, that's they're going to be a damn good team, and they're going to be a damn good team anyways. But so who do you have?
Avalanche. They're so good. 2, I have Nashville.
I also have Nashville too. People are underrating this hockey team. They're a good hockey team. Just because they got swept in a series they could give a shit about doesn't mean they're bad.
Oh, I thought they were bad last year. I think they're good now.
I don't think they were great last year, but I think people are taking too much stock in what happened in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They
McDonough helps them
legitimately
so much.
didn't care to be in. Yeah, McDonough
Yeah.
is the big one there.
They have a top 5 defense and top 5 goalie and an
that's all
okay
you need.
forward
And then
core.
and then Forsberg will do some dope stuff. Duchesne will
Yeah.
score a goal when they're down 7-0,
Yeah.
and
Duchesne's still got
Ryjo.
those silky mitts, man. Like he's still
Yeah,
good.
Duchesne has his moments if he's if he's on. But yeah, who do you have at 3? So I have St. Louis.
I have Dallas at 3.
You have Dallas. Oof.
I think obviously they have to get this Robertson stuff figured out, but I think they're sneaky. They're sneakily very good, like a very good hockey team.
Yeah, I could see it. I feel like eventually Joe Pavelski is going to realize that people do in fact age, and he's gonna not be very good. I'm not sold on Jake Ottinger yet. One playoff series just isn't enough to sell me on him. He's just hasn't been that great of a goalie in the regular season, so I'm not entirely sure how I can bet on that team. And I think losing John Klingberg was kind of a big deal. Now everybody is kind of buying stock in this Miro Heiskanen kind of ascension coming up this year. I can't say I disagree, but I don't think it's going to be. I think he's, it's going to. I think next year is when he's going to really start to show his stuff. But
he's so good. Like
he's
even
really
if he
good.
doesn't get any better than he already is, he's a number 1 defenseman.
He is a really good defenseman. He is the probably second best defenseman in this division. Third best defenseman in this division.
Third, yeah. No, I'd actually put him second. I don't think Roman Yossi's as good as Miro Heiskanen.
I'm talking about Devon Toews, my friend.
Oh, yeah. All right. Third.
Yeah.
Devon Toews is the best. Is better than him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Curtis
I always forget about him, man, because he just slips into the background, does his thing.
Gets mono.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Toews.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Toews gets mono.
No, he doesn't. No, Toews has a beautiful dog, so that's what
does it for him. That's his
he doesn't have mono.
factor.
He has a beautiful dog and a beautiful family.
Maybe that's the dog name. I don't know. But
his dog's name is Beau. His son's name is Bennett, named after my brother. But yeah.
Oh, I thought he named.
I have a funny story about that. Some other time.
we'll save it for a different podcast. So I have Dallas at 6.
Whoa.
I have probably underestimated this team the more I think about this, because I do have Winnipeg in front of them, and I'm starting to regret that decision. So I think Dallas at 5 is probably a better bet. But
yeah, that's fair. I can see him down there too. I just think I think we underestimated the amount of Rick bonusing that happened there. Yeah. Like Rick Bowness is a bad coach. He's a bad hockey coach.
It's true.
And Pete DeBoer is most certainly not a bad hockey coach, systems wise. Like
it's true. Yeah,
we can talk about his handling of goalies, but I don't think he's gonna have to worry about that. It's Jake Ottinger. Roll him. He's your number 1.
Coming to the Dallas Stars Hockey Club.
Right.
He was actually kind of gross though.
Roll Jake Ottinger. They're gonna play it with a system now. That's not just hit everything you see.
That's just make this game as miserable as possible for everybody involved.
Right. Like just watching that preseason game the other night, like they were playing decently fast for Dallas.
Yeah, they were actually playing to their strengths. Yeah, they have, those underrated guys like Gurianov on offense. Mason Marchment, I'm not sure how he fits into how their team plays now. I feel like, when Rick Bowness was still the coach, he's a better addition, but he's still a good player.
Yeah, he's good.
So
I just think like I look at their team on the whole and I'm like, that screams like mid to high 90s, like especially with this new coach. Their forwards are underrated. I mean, obviously Hintz, Robertson, Pavelski, just roll that. That's sweet.
Yeah.
I think Sagan's still okay. 50, 60 point guy. You can put Marchment with him. Gurionov is probably going to get better. Still have Jamie Benn, who sucks now, but he's okay. He's an NHL player.
He's going to try and injure some people.
Right. And their bottom six is okay. Like Radek Fax is a good 3C.
Yeah.
They have some things down there.
They don't have any big problems with their team that I feel like,
right.
It really just depends on how good everybody else in the division is, because I don't know. I can't completely buy the stock on them. There's just so many things up in the air for them. You're kind of banking on a few things to happen with
That's
them.
fair. I think they're going to be pretty good.
That's fair. I think they'll probably be better than where I guessed. But so at 4, who do you have?
I have Mini at 4.
I have Mini at 4 too.
I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. Like not even close.
Yeah, I said it before last year. I expected a regression, and then they just peaked as hard as they could peak last year. And there's no way they're going to be as good this year.
Brian
especially
Hartman won't score 30 goals. Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be not good.
Yep.
And they're going to have to find a way without Kevin Fiala. So this might not go very well for them.
Yeah, they could easily drop out of the playoffs, honestly. But Matt Boldy and Marco Rossi might stop, fill those gaps.
Yeah. But obviously, Rossi's like a complete unknown.
Yeah, he's
probably going to be very good.
Yeah,
I think Boldy's awesome.
I think it might take him a year though. Boldy, I think, is going to be a big player for them this year. He's probably the going to replace Fiala's productions. It's mostly just how does the bottom of the lineup, because the bottom of the lineup was where those career highs really came in.
Yeah,
and then Marc-Andre Fleury is just not that good of a goalie.
That's my biggest thing with them. He's not very good anymore. Like, I would rather have Cam Talbot. And I don't think Cam Talbot's very good either. Like,
yeah, Cam Talbot's okay, and they don't have Capo Kakinen and he was okay. He's a fine backup.
Right. I don't know how this is going to go for them. I don't think it's going to go as good as last year. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes terribly.
Yeah, I think
Kaprizov's awesome, though.
I have a feeling this is going to end up the same as every kind of year has for the Minnesota Wild. They're just going to lose in the first round. Doesn't really matter how they get there.
I agree.
But, so at 5, I have Winnipeg.
I have the Blues.
Okay, you have the Blues. So for the Blues, I still have faith that they just have the pieces to be a solid team. Scott Perunovich being out the entire year, though, that don't help. But I don't know. I don't know if that really sways the needle for me, because their big thing is defense. Like, they need to actually get good at defense, and Jordan Bennington needs to remember how to play goalie.
Right.
Who knows if he will.
Like, it's not their thing anymore, though. Like it used to be.
Yeah.
That used to be what the Blues were all about. Big bad Blues. And now I think they're going to be that's my hot take of this entire season. I think the Blues missed the playoffs. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think
them
Justin
losing
Falk
Perron
regresses. Losing Perron. Justin Falk regresses. Colton Parayko is not a number 1. I mean, Nick Leddy sucks.
They still have Nick Leddy, yeah.
Horrible. And they signed him to a 4x4, and he's awful. Like,
I think why I have them higher is I buy into Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas more, because Robert Thomas was one of the better playmakers in the league. And Jordan Kyrou is just kind of a pretty solid player, unless Josh Manson is a goalie, in which case, we can't score.
Josh Manson lives in Jordan Kyrou's head rent free.
Yeah, unless if for some reason that broke him, I feel confident that he'll be a big piece for them.
He's a very good player. I just think, like, I can't help but think that ROR is going to regress.
Oh yeah, that's something that I feel confident in. For this season, that he's going to start to go down.
Right, and then I also I think Robert Thomas is a low end 1C. Like I don't think he's a high end 1C. And
Yeah.
then I think Kyrie's production is low end at the wing as well, like low end top guy, high end second line guy. Like they just have so much of that. Like I don't think they're gonna score as many goals as last year,
Uh,
and I think they're gonna
920 goal
let
scorers,
in.
baby.
Well, and I think like they're gonna miss Ville Husso
More
coming
than
in
people remember.
and somehow saving their season.
Yeah,
Like Ville Husso
he
is their
was the
savior,
reason they got there. Yeah.
right? And not a lot of people know that. Like
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
saw Jordan Binnington's 3 great games in the playoffs, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this Blues team, man! Like Jordan Binnington's good again. This Blues team is
920 goal
really good
scorers.
too." Like I don't buy it. I
It's I
yeah.
definitely have more faith than you do, but
Mm-hmm.
them and Dallas are the teams that I could really see. It could go either way for
Oh,
them.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas has got to figure that Robertson stuff out. He's their
Yeah.
best player,
Yeah. No.
I think.
If they don't figure that out, I feel
Besides Hasty.
very very confident that they're not going to make the
Oh,
playoffs.
I agree. No, yeah.
And
Um,
now that Barzell signed that contract, it is getting a lot harder.
yeah, I think they've got to clear some space somewhere
I don't know
for
where.
it to get done. I don't know what you do. Like, do you trade S. Lindell? Even though he's like still pretty good, he makes so much money. I don't
Just
know.
meet Jamie Benn in the hallway, break his kneecap, and
Yeah,
LTIR him.
yeah, that's got to be the plan. Just break Jamie Benn somehow, get that 9.3 onto the LTIR.
And there,
Yeah,
just give it to Nick Robertson.
right.
Um,
Oh man,
and then we got
there he is.
Winnipeg. Winnipeg, they got Connor Hellebuck. They got some solid forwards.
Yeah,
We'll see
Winnipeg's a
what Cole
mess.
Perfetti does this year.
Yeah, I Cole Perfetti's cool. Yeah. um, it's about all I got there. I think they're going to be much more of the same,
And they got Rick
and
Bowness.
they have a worse coach than Paul Maurice. So
Summary. Well, yeah. I mean,
Dave Lowry is bad too, but I think Rick Bowness is bad.
Rick Bowness, especially for that team. Like,
Yeah, like
if you want to bring in defensive structure, you have to actually have people like who can.
who
I'm
can
surprised. I
exactly.
mean, I don't know. You're the closest to the situation. You're on the team, so
Right, like I just got stripped of my C, and and that sucks. Um, but I believe in the program. I think we've got a good program going, and you know, just take it day by day, and we'll see how it goes. So,
there you go. Anything else on the Jets? I mean, I don't know. This is a team that I could see making the playoffs.
no,
Really? I think their forwards are good enough, and Helly could maybe give one more season where he just kind of just saves
Bucky's
their
cool.
asses.
Their forwards are good. Their defense is atrocious, and they have Rick Bowness. Like, no, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I don't
I don't
know.
buy it.
I'm not penciling them into. I wouldn't bet money on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it happened, I'd be like, all right, this
I would be surprised.
bit whack, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, but with other teams that the pendulum can swing so many different ways for a lot of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Chicago and Arizona. They
Yeah.
suck.
Who do you have ahead of who in the battle for Bedard?
I have Chicago above Arizona. Now,
I do too. I think Arizona's so bad.
I think they could be better than they were last year.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Really?
No. Mm-mm.
I don't know. Teams with Jonas Johansson just do well. It seems like nowadays.
Well, yeah, he was on Buffalo.
Not nowadays.
You can never take the Buffalo out of somebody.
No, yeah, I guess that's
You
true.
might be able to take him out of Buffalo,
But they
but
got
you'll
Patrick
never be
Nemeth.
able. It's not a coincidence that the Avs won the cup without Miss Johansson.
I guess this is fair. This is a fair point he makes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe moving to Arizona is maybe like a secret homer for them. I think they could be. I think with it, but they're not going to play Geeky or Cooley, so I just don't. I don't think they're going to be good.
They're so bad.
really the reason that Chicago's ahead of them is because they have Jones,
They have
Taves,
talent.
Kane. Yeah,
They also have Peter Mrazek in net, so that'll be fun.
that'll be an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So
They're
who
so
do you
bad.
think at the end of the day? Who do you think walks away? What's your cup final matchup prediction?
My cup final. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I didn't prepare anything for this. Just
Pressure makes
why
diamonds.
not? I'll go Colorado. I'll go I'll go I'll go Colorado and Toronto.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
That's like the most chalk pick.
I can't help but think that Toronto is just too good for this.
Yeah, I think this is the year they get out of the first round. I don't know if I can confidently say it's the year they win the cup, but they're gonna get out of the first round. I feel like.
Oh, I think the Avs win the cup, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna make it to the cup, but
the Avs?
no, the
Oh,
Leafs.
okay, yeah.
For my cup final matchup, I picked Calgary and Carolina.
Not the Avs, huh?
Yeah, I don't usually pick the Avs, out of a jinxing perspective, but I think Calgary. I feel like it just makes so much sense. The going from what could have been an awful offseason to go into the cup final. I feel like that just makes sense. They get rid of Johnny Gaudreau and then they're just like, bang, we're good in the playoffs now.
Johnny Gaudreau does have those vibes.
Yeah, like, he's got a little bit of that Buffalo in him, even though
yeah,
he's
a
not
little
Buffalo.
bit of Buffalo. Like,
yeah.
You're not going to win with Johnny Gaudreau. Like, there's just something weird about him. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's because his name's Johnny Hockey. It's too
cheesy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I do think Carolina walks away with the cup. That team is just so nasty. But if either of I think even if Anderson gets injured, I think Antti Raanta can make it. But if either of them get injured, if both of them get injured again, nah.
I think Carolina's good. I just don't buy it. They don't have the high end.
I think this is the year for at least one of Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov, if not both.
I don't know, man.
I think
we've been saying that about Svech for a while. I feel like Aho just is who he is at this point, like a really, really good two-way center who puts up 80 to 90 points.
Every season or two, one of those guys, just kind of pops off, puts up a hundo.
Sure.
And you're just kind of...
It happens.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts before we close this inaugural edition of the Cake Eaters out?
Not really. I think we covered each division pretty in depth. I will ask you, who do you think ends up with Bedard?
With Bedard?
And who do you want to end up with Bedard?
I want Arizona to end up with Bedard. I think that with the draft they had last year, I mean, they've actually put an effort into tanking, But who do I think ends up with Bedard? I think it's New Jersey. I think Jack Hughes is going to get hurt, and they're just going to be like, have another first overall pick. Why don't you?
Yeah, and they're going to be like fifth worst, and then they'll win the lottery somehow.
Yeah.
That'd be so dumb.
That's what the Devils do, baby.
I wonder if San Jose sneaks in there. Like,
dude, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine what's the highest pick San Jose has ever had?
Oh, I don't know. They were so good for so long without.
Yeah, they've always just kind of been solid.
They were the Leafs of my childhood. I just remember them being so good every year and then just losing in the first round or second round. But yeah, no, I think they could sneak in there. I think I think Winnipeg might have a chance to be really bad. I think Montreal, obviously, that